All right, so go ahead and take the items out of your bag. And let me just give you your bag here. And I will show you how your items work. I will lock your boards in place as well if you haven't already.
Die? No, tracker.
Yeah, that goes onto the black spot that's on your focus track that's on your character sheet.
7?
No, 3.
3. I only start off with 3 hit points.
That's not hit points. That's aggro.
So yeah, that is your aggro meter. And the way this works is your cards that you have, the cards that you own, are actually your health. So your cards are not only your abilities, but your cards are how much damage you can take.
I'm not exactly sure where these go.
So let's see. The advanced feat cards we'll just put aside for now. The basic gear card goes on top of your basic feats. Now this forms your deck, which goes here.
I thought this was my basic gear.
This is your starting gear.
No.
A little bit different.
I've got our rewards over here.
Yeah, so I'm just going to put the rewards cards here in the center for now. And then I'll get rid of that. All right, so your starting gear... Oh, I'm going to have to turn off. For some reason, the snapping now works on the cards, so the cards go into weird places. So I'll turn that off after we've built the board. So same thing over here. You've got your starting gear cards go off to the side. The basic gear goes with your basic feats, like that. And that's your deck.
Oh, he's dealing with that.
All right, so the way this works is, as I mentioned, you've got a deck of cards, and that deck of cards is how much damage you can take. So basically, if you've got 12 cards, you can take about 12 hits, is essentially how this works. Where did your rewards card go there?
Over here.
Oh, no, for Dead. Where's his rewards cards?
Here.
Oh. Okay, cool. 2. All right. Okay, cool.
Card.
You can also start spreading out your advanced feat cards, by the way.
So, again, as this works, as I mentioned, the basic card, that is your basic feats and the basic equipment. That starts your deck out, and that's how much hits you can take. During the course of the game, you're going to be able to buy additional cards. That's what the advanced feat cards are. You can spread those out however you want. The cost of each card, kind of like in a deck builder, is in the upper right-hand corner. That's how much of these resolve tokens you have to spend to buy them. We're going to have a resolve pool that's shared across all 4 of us. So each of us can earn it, and each of us can spend it. So we have to kind of negotiate how we want to work it. Whenever you buy a new card from your advanced feats, it goes immediately into your hand for use. So it's a good way of, if you're preparing for a turn and there's something you want to do, sometimes buying a feat might be what can help you. I kind of want to just go over the symbols first, because that's the big thing. Once you understand the symbols, the rest of it kind of falls into place real easy.
All right.
So I'm just going to grab a basic enemy, and we'll do a comparison over here by Fingray. So what you've got here is, on your character sheets, you've got your aggro track. The higher the number, the more likely monsters are going to come your way. So anytime you see this little icon that's on that focus track, that's what it's referencing. Anytime you see an arrow that points to the left or to the right, for instance, if you look at his war sword here, you'll notice that some actions tell it to have an arrow that point right. That tells you which direction you're moving a track. The 3 tracks you can move are either your aggro track, the time track, which is up here, or the reinforcement track. Again, the aggro track is for monsters getting their monsters' attention. The time track is literally the time limit that we have. When this reaches the end, we lose. The reinforcement track is how many monsters will appear at the end of a round of combat. And so the way this works is, you may notice on your aggro track, not only does it have numbers, but it does have the symbols on it. it has a symbol for the reinforcement track. So if you start building your threat up, you might put the reinforcement track up. And then if we all, if we don't keep track of that, we may end up getting more reinforcements that we can handle. The number by 11 is what's called an enrage. Anytime you get that symbol, whether the time track gets it or your aggro track gets it, you have to look at the monster cards you have in front of you and see if they've got that burning eye icon you'll see at the bottom of this card. That's what happens when he enrages. In this case, this guy will remove 1 point of damage from him, and then he calms down, which means he can enrage again immediately. Once you get to the end of the track, it goes back down 7, and then it continues back up again, meaning you can re-trigger any effects. The main symbols, as you look on any of your cards, you'll notice there's swords, and there's a symbol that looks almost like a starburst. The swords are physical damage. The starbursts are magical damage. Pretty straightforward. If there is a shield icon behind them, it means it blocks it. So if you look at this guy, you'll see from left to right, if you look at his stats there, he does 2 physical damage. He blocks 2 physical damage, but only blocks 1 magical damage. Anytime in front of an ability, you'll see 2 letters, either a Q or an H. The Q stands for anything that's in the questing area up here. The H stands for anything in a hero area, which is in front of you. There are ranges. Anytime you see a circle with a number in it, it tells you how far an ability can reach. A range of 1 is anything in front of you. A range of 2 is anything in the quest area or another hero. The only time you would go over 2 is if a monster ability causes it to happen, and that's just for a limitation on ranges. All right, beyond that, you have 3 different types of actions. You have fast, you have reflex, and you have regular. On your turn, you can do any number of fast and reflex actions that you want. But you only get 1 regular action. So it's almost like HeroQuest. You got some things that are actions, some things that are not. So you can only do 1 regular action unless a card tells you otherwise. So a card might tell you to go ahead and use an action, even if you've already done a regular action. Any number of fast, any number of reflex. The difference is that fast actions can only be done on your turn, whereas reflex actions can be done at any time. So if we look at the War Sword, just going down so you can see what this stands for. First thing you'll see there's that HA1. That's just a limit. That's a limitation thing. All that is telling you is that when it's in your hero area, it has a category of A. Literally, the category is any letter. So you'll notice this has A, this has C, this has D. That's the category. The number next to it is how many of that category you can have. So obviously, if you look at the sword, it says A1. Well, you can only have 1 A card. If you play another A card, you have to discard the one you have in play. Hopefully that makes sense. You usually don't run across that, but every now and then you might. So the first thing the War Sword can do, it's got a hand icon. That means you're going to play it from your hand. It has a range of 1, and it's a fast action. If you play this card from the hand, you put it in your hero area, which is literally, this is your equipped items right here. So you would basically, if this was in your hand, as a fast action, you could put this up and put it in your hero area. The next part says you must move to the right 1, your focus track. See how that reads? I know it looks a little confusing at first, but if you once you know the symbols, you can kind of see, oh, okay, it means this, and it's pretty straightforward. This sword also has 2 different regular actions. The first one allows it to do 2 damage. You would then move your focus track up 2. And it says you can discard a combat card to make it deal an additional damage, plus move the focus up 1. At the end of that, you would put this card on top of your deck. The second regular action deals more damage, 3 instead of 2, and it also has more potential damage. It can do up to 3 by discarding 3 cards. But it's powerful, so if you do that, you have to discard the card. When you discard cards in this game, you don't get to shuffle up your deck when you use up all your deck. The way you get cards back is either at the end of combat when we rest, or someone might play a healing card on you, or you might have a special ability. For example, Finn Gray here has a Never Defenseless ability that once per round, he can use a fast action to take a weapon or shield card from his discard and put it back on top of his deck.
Yeah, I saw that. That's why I picked him.
Well, pretty much all of them have some way of cycling their weapon back. So
Yeah, most of them do. So the way combat works is on your turn, let's say you want to attack this guy. On the lower left is his health. And then, of course, up here is his defenses. In order to do damage, you have to get through the defenses first, which means you have to do more than 2 points of damage if you're doing physical to hurt this.
in a single attack.
Which one's his defense?
If you look at the top here, the numbers, from left to right, it is offense and then defense. So it's the damage he does, what type of damage. So in this case, 2 physical, and then it shows his physical defense, which is 2, and his magical defense, which is 1. So in order to kill it in one turn, you would have to do a total of 4 points of damage as a physical hit, or 3 in a magical hit. You don't have to do it all at once. You can do multiple attacks on your turn if you have the cards and actions to do it. But every time you attack, you have to get through the defense again. So if you wanted to kill him in 2 hits, you'd have to do 2 hits of 3. See how that works? Because he's got 2 defense.
Yeah.
When monsters take damage, they just get a wound token that we put on it. And then once he's done the amount of damage, he dies. The way we take damage, though, is if the monster hits you and hurts you, you have to destroy cards. So you have a discard, right? Whenever you play a card, right? Let's just pull one of your basic abilities or something like here. This card. From the hand, draw a card, right? You would play this. And if you play it, it would go in your discard pile, right? If you take damage from a monster, your card has to go into the destroyed pile, which is up here.
Is that from your hand? Can it be from your hand and your card rolled?
It cannot be from your hero area, so it can't be anything that you have equipped.
It's got to be from your hand.
But it can be from your hand, your discard pile, or your deck. If it's from your hand,
the discarded.
Yeah. If it's from your hand or your discard, you can pick what it is. If it's from your deck, you have to take the top card.
Yep.
Now, when you destroy cards, they're not permanently destroyed. That's why we have a set for it, why we don't actually delete it. If you were to get healed, like you notice how this guy has a restoration of 2 on the lower right? You may also notice that this has the same symbol here on the lower right. When we finish combat, we rest, and then we get that restoration number. The restoration you get is equal to whatever tile we're on, plus what is on your character sheet. So in this case, if we were to rest this in, we would get, Finn Gray here would get 6. That number is how many times you can move cards. The way it works is 1 move is from the destroyed pile back to discard, and 1 move is from the discard to the bottom of your deck.
So with 6 I could get 3 cards back.
So you can't move them back into your hand, though.
Right.
Nope.
They don't go back in your hand. They go back to the deck.
Yeah. All right.
And that's how that works. And again, a lot of this is kind of better in motion, but I wanted to give you guys kind of the overview on that. Regarding statuses real quick so you know what these do. There is burning. There is poison. There's daze. These are the 3 things that can be done both to you and that you can do to monsters and monsters can do to you. Burning and poison are literally the same thing.
This is an FFG game, isn't it?
What?
This is an FFG game, isn't it?
What is FFG?
The Final Fight games. The maker.
Fantasy Flight, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, Fantasy Flight.
So these 2 are pretty much identical. The only difference is what type of damage they might do. They essentially, at the end of a monster's defense round, these will both do 1 wound to a monster, regardless of its defense. So if they have one of these, they will take the damage. It goes through the defenses, but they get a chance to attack before it happens. The days means that the monster will do 1 less point of damage for every symbol it has. The last status is weakness, and this is only for players. For every weakness token you get to draw. When you finish your turn, you get to draw back up to 5 cards. Every weakness token means you draw 1 less. One thing I didn't mention here is on the monster, you'll notice in the upper left, there's that little symbol there. I mentioned how that's the same symbol for buying cards. When that monster is defeated, that is how many resolve tokens you get. So this guy would give us 1. We start with 1, so that means we would have a total of 2 in the pool. So you could go through here in your advanced deck and look for something of 2 and buy it, or something of 1 and buy it. So here you could get I Am Your Shield, which allows you to resolve an action that cancels. If you resolve an action that cancels damage, that action gains additional range. So this means I Am Your Shield would allow you to block an attack for another hero.
Which makes sense. I am your shield.
For certain characters have certain cards that are like their bread and butter. Like Finnegrey here, this is probably one of the Bulwark. It's basically something that you equip, and then every time you cancel all the damage a creature does, you get to draw a card. If you look at your shield, when you use it, it goes back to the top of your deck, which means Bulwark literally means you block the attack, put it back in your deck, and then put it back in your hand.
And you don't discard this card unless you
if it's equipped in your hero zone, no. So notice the first thing it says, place in your hero zone. If you're playing it from your hand, it gets discarded.
Oh, okay.
So anything that says place in your hero zone, that's an equipable item. Now what you'll notice is I Am Your Shield and Bulwark have that limitation of F, but they have 3, which means you could have both of those plus 1 more. Like I said, you can spread those out if you want to take a look at what you can buy, because at any point during the game you can buy them.
Yeah, like I did, for example, over here you can see it's kind of spread by the price.
All right, so what I'm going to do is...
the freaking snap points.
Really?
There we go. All right, so I'm going to do it this way.
So that's 8. I'll get rid of these 4. Put the